Let's remind you of an earlier story. The Madlanga Commission is set to begin its proceedings on Wednesday, the 17th of September, with its official sitting at the Bridget Mabandla Justice College in Pretoria. The Commission is also consulting with the KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, who made serious allegations of corruption, political interference and criminal syndicate infiltration within South Africa's law enforcement and intelligence structures. Joining us now is Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast, Acting Director at the Centre for Security, Peace and Conflict Resolution at the Nelson Mandela University. Prof, good evening to you and thank you so much for your time. So listening to the update this afternoon, one of the big issues is the fact that the findings are not binding and the Commission can only make recommendations to the President. So the job, they say, is to conduct public hearings and then make these particular recommendations. But to myself and probably many others, it sounds like an expensive exercise of a report that could possibly gather dust and not be acted upon.
Although this is a very important commission, largely because it revolves around the security architecture of the country. And if this issue is not addressed, even our economy cannot do well because of the symbiotic relationship between security and development. Now, the commission is meant to uncover the truth about the claims that were made regarding issues of threats to the country. So I think it needs to be given a space to unfold so that the findings hopefully can be implemented. I don't think that though there is a duplication because even Parliament has its own process. The issue is that Parliament is a political platform, even though it is underpinned by checks and balances.
Yeah.
So the role of Parliament, besides making laws, is to hold the executive institution accountable.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Chapter 5 of the Constitution indicates that the President has a right to appoint a commission to uncover the truth about any issue. So I think I don't see any duplication in my view.
Yeah, one wonders though, because and I do understand and appreciate the fact of the duplication, but the findings are not binding, they say. They'll just hold public hearings. Is that not a concern, given the history of commissions in this country?
Look, I understand where does this concern come from, but also we need to understand, I'm not a lawyer, but my understanding is that we should compare apples with apples. A commission is not a court of law. A commission is just a platform to uncover the truth about something. So now, the thinking is that if the findings carry weight, then they can be handed over to another process, which is the legal process. I don't think that we can expect findings of a commission to be binding. I mean, there's never been something of the sort.
At the same time, you know, while one understands that, there is, of course, the issue of public trust, which also came up in Parliament, for example, with the ad hoc committee chair who was speaking about the fact that trust in public institutions has been dwindling over time, and it's important that you know, that issue is being addressed, particularly when you think of some of the serious allegations that have been made here. In light of that, then, how important will it be that whatever report comes from the Madlanga Commission does not gather dust and South Africans actually do see action there?
Well, it is true that public trust has broken down, that the trust between the powers that be and the citizens has been done away with because of practices of corruption. But I think the motivation, among other things, behind instituting a platform of this nature is to restore the very same trust that we're talking about. So that these institutions, people, they begin to see them as being credible. Yeah.
So when I was watching earlier on, there's another issue, and it came up in Parliament as well, but we'll stick to the Madlanga Commission right now, is that the issue of classified information. The Commission says it doesn't have power to declassify information, but so far it has not encountered any issues, and should it encounter maybe some issues, then it could take this up with the President. But one wonders though, given the allegations that have been made by the KwaZulu-Natal Commissioner, how much of an issue could this be of the classification of information as far as some other witnesses are concerned?
So I think everything has a context. My view is that, for instance, you should have people who are going to testify in a camera to protect the security issues. But also you have other people who should testify in public. So there are threats which are posing a danger to some of the people who are going to be sharing information with the public. So what I'm saying that there is a tension between transparency and also other information that should be kept, I think, in private, just to protect some of the people that will be speaking.
And in light of that, then finally, when you look at the protection of witnesses itself, this is another issue that is likely to be thorny, given the fact that we're seeing what has been happening to some whistleblowers in separate matters across this, in some parts of the country. Think about this attorney, for example, who was shot in a boardroom. And one wonders, this issue, how critical is it to the work of the Commission, given the fact that there could be people who come forward but simply do not want to give evidence because they feel they're being threatened or unsafe?
Of course, I think the motivation behind these killings is to convey a message that those who are bold enough to share information about crime, about this, about that, they need to back off, so that even others who are thinking of doing the same thing can think twice. So it's important for the state to provide security for those people who will be sharing information to assist this particular forum, so that as a country we can have findings which can be implemented.
Prof, appreciate your time. Thank you so much for chatting to us. That was Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast, Acting Director of the Center for Security, Peace and Conflict Resolution at the Nelson Mandela University.